Hello everybody, so my name is Morgan and I am showing my game that I have made here in Construct 3. It is my first game that I've ever made, and it is a top-down shooter-esque type game where your main character here, named Deck, is going around purging his lands of all the enemies, purging all the enemies out. So you have 10 different enemies that respawn in all 3 of these boxes, and this one down here is actually the smallest one and respawns twice as much. And this guy respawns right over here actually. And also, yes, you have a score counter, and you also have a start button, and also you have background music. So your background music is a song from Two Steps from Hell, which is the band name. And then Windows XPR is for when the player dies. Firework is the sound that the tiniest enemy makes, just because it is a little bit more difficult to see. And so it's kind of an achievement whenever you can kill it. As well as this is whenever you release the bow, that's what the sound that it makes. And then you also have bottle rocket sound, so those are the death sounds of the other 9 of your enemies. And whenever I first initially did this idea, I didn't actually want to do any of this. It was just going to be a simple, let's just say, fantasy-related target practice, as, say, this character was going to be a little bit smaller, and he was, like, learning how to do archery. And so he was going to, like, run around here and do target practice, etc., but that sounded exceedingly lame in my own head. And so I totally changed it to a top-down shooter and made it to where, made a little story behind it, and also incorporated the serene feeling that's also going on here, but as well as this whole weird, kind of creepy vibe going on here with the color palettes and the eyes and all that. And so let's get into the game here. You control it with the arrow keys, start it, and the enemies come towards you. And no matter where I go, they follow. So once you die, your score counter does restart. And anytime you kill an enemy, you gain 5 points, and your score counter caps at 800 points. So let me go ahead and win my own game. And yes, you have the bottle rocket sounds and that one individual firework sound, just to give it that different feeling. And also, that came really close. Okay, you get your victory screen and the score counter resets. And yes, so let me go over here. So obviously anytime you get closer, it does get difficult. And also, you do have a little bit of a delay when they respawn. I don't know if you saw that, but that you do have a little bit of a delay. So you do actually have a chance to try and catch up. But the whole point here is to move around and shoot them carefully so you don't die. But when you die, you get your Windows error sound and score resets, and you're also reset to this side of the map. And yeah, so, and also it's kind of hard to tell, but whenever these guys reach the ends of, their boundaries here, you also die. So you don't actually get an option to just run around. But the game also doesn't end until you hit the score cap of 800, so you do actually have to kill things. But yeah, as I said before, I did end up scrapping my original idea, and since my theme is fantasy, that is like the encompassing theme around the whole creepy and serene vibe going on here, is the fact that everything is this whole fantasy themed based game where Deck over here is going over and killing all these guys. And at first it is just because he has to, but since he is an elf, he does do his own magic, and it ends up respawning all these guys, which is the whole point of the game resetting, even if you get the victory screen. So with that, this is my game. First ever game here in Construct 3, and I actually really enjoyed it. The only thing I would change is, here, let me go up here. So pick an enemy, go to its collision points. So within Construct, you should only really cap your collision points out at 8, just because if you add more than that, animations and such get a little bit funky. I don't actually have any for these, but it also hinders movement, etc., etc. So I would also just change it from a sphere to a shape that actually has points on it, just because the collision points on it are not as perfect as I would like them to be. But otherwise, I honestly love how this turned out, and just the whole serene vibe, but also just the silly points of, you know, your start button and your kill sounds and him being killed, etc., etc. And also this background music is the best. So yeah, this is my game, and I hope you enjoyed watching. If you have any questions for me, just drop them in the comments below, and also I will have my social media linked either here in the video or in the description. So that is it.